What's going on, guys? Stevie from the Minute Masters here, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the front fuel tank in your truck. So a more than enough common problem with these trucks is the fuel tanks rust. They're made of steel, a lot of times they're uncoated, and hey, the trucks are about over 20 years old, most of them, so it only makes sense. So on mine, this is the new plastic one that's going to replace it, but on mine, right where the seam is right here on a steel one, it rusted right there. So I've had it with the steel tanks. I decided I'd shell out the extra money and go with a polyethylene fuel tank. So that's what this is, a type of plastic, and it's made in the USA. So the tank we're replacing here is the front one. Okay, so that one, if you have a dual fuel tank Ford, and it's really quite straightforward. Okay, so we're gonna go into here. So there's the tank right there. I've dropped it once to replace the fuel pump, and then I got wise and I made my hatch to access it, but it's held up by these two straps. Okay, so once you undo the straps, it comes down, and then it's just a matter of disconnecting things. So let's get started. So the first thing I like to do is disconnect all the delicate stuff. The last thing you want to do is drop your tank and put any strain on your wiring harness and your fuel lines. So you'll start by disconnecting your fuel pump, which is that plug right there, and then your fuel lines. Now your fuel lines are held in by this clip right here, and then of course Ford fuel lines actually have a built-in clip mechanism. Okay, so what you're going to use are fuel line disconnects like this that are special for Ford vehicles. And how they work, you slide the end in like that, and it actually helps undo the fuel line just like that. And watch, there's gonna be fuel that's gonna come out. Okay, and that's it. So I'm going to disconnect the other fuel line, unplug the harness, and I'll bring you back. So as you can see, I have the fuel lines disconnected, and I have the fuel pump harness also unplugged. Now we can leave the fuel pump in there because we can transfer that over to the new tank outside the truck. We don't have to do it here. Now you may have noticed that I have this hatch right here, and I probably could have done all of that from above, but since some of you guys may not have this neat little hatch, I'm showing it the way without. By the way, at the end of the video, I will have a link to that video on how to make one of those. So anyway, the next step here is to undo that bolt and that bolt right there. They hold the straps that hold the tank in place. We'll loosen those up, lower the tank down, and we'll go from there. So here we are. The tank is hanging down. It's sort of being held up by the straps, and then of course at this end with my impact hammer there. So the only thing left are your vent here, which I just pulled out. It's just, you just wiggle, 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 and it comes right out. And then of course you have your fuel filler neck. So you just have to undo this hose clamp and then work the hose off about an inch of the tank that's inserted in there, and the tank should come right down. So here we are, guys. Old rusty tank next to new, never gonna rust tank. So now, as you can see, there are areas on this tank that actually just rust because of where moisture and dirt and everything sits. Normally these tanks end up rusting on the top, but mine ended up rusting just under the seam on this end. So anyway, good riddance. So the next step here is to take the fuel pump and transfer it to the new tank. Okay, now you'll see that they have this lock ring. It's just a matter of taking I think I usually use like a dull chisel or something like that, or if you have any blunt instrument, you just hit these tabs over in a circular fashion, and you can unscrew this, and then you just transfer the new pump over there. Once the new pump's in, then we can start moving the thing back under the truck. Real quick, guys, so the install process for the fuel pump is actually different from steel tanks. Steel tanks, like I said, is that you turn and lock the ring. On this one, with our specific type of fuel pump, there it is if you haven't seen one in the flesh, is you undo all these tabs, okay, place your fuel pump there, and then you put all the tabs back. Now, you want to be sure they go back the same way they came off, which is with the curve portions sticking up like that. So I just took them off, put them back there, just like so. Now, if you forget all this, the tank comes with nice directions right here. And then if you have a fuel pump that works with the brass fitting they have there, your directions are right there. So anyway, I'm going to transfer the fuel pump over and we can get back to putting this new tank in. Okay, so I'm back under the truck with the new fuel tank, fuel pump installed in the tank. And the process is literally the reverse. So you're going to put your vent tube back in. You're going to hook up your fuel filler spout right here. And then you go to your fuel lines, plug in your harness, bolt the thing up, and that's it. If you thought this was simple, that's probably because it is. So I'm going to hook this stuff all up and I'll bring you back. So real quick note, getting the rubber washer in for the vent here is just a little bit difficult because, you know, the plastic just is a little bit thicker than the metal. So the best way to do it is to pull the rubber donut off the vent and install the rubber donut and then push the vent in. Also, for the fuel filler neck here, the plastic might just be a teeny bit wider than what it is, so it really can take some working to get this thing on there. I don't really have a trick for that other than maybe you could do some Vaseline or something, but I did it dry. I got it on there. You have to work at it. So anyway, just wanted to mention those two things to you. So here we are, guys. Polyethylene plastic fuel tank, fully installed and hooked up. Man, it's just always nice stepping back and seeing new parts in a truck, especially one that you know will never rust like all the other stuff. So anyway, guys, that's all for me. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you really consider actually doing the swap. Just in case you're curious, a steel tank is about like $9,800. A polyethylene is going to set you back $280 shipped. So if this is a problem you're having and you think it's worth spending the money, go ahead and do it. I know, I feel good knowing that that's in there to stay. So anyway, hit the subscribe icon over here. Check out some of my other videos. I'm Stevie from the Minimasters. Thanks for watching.